Hey, Selena.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for being our guest. I know you're a hot commodity these days. I
Oh,
appreciate.
I'm just it's great. I'm glad I feel confident enough to share what I've figured out and um finding doing it via Zoom is always good because I'm now in Toronto with my mom. So,
Oh, you are. Good.
yeah.
So you're from Canada?
Yeah, originally from Canada, from British Columbia.
Nice.
hmm Yeah.
Hey, how do you pronounce your last name?
Lai, Lai,
That's
lie.
what I thought, but I just didn't want to mess it up.
No problem.
We'll
Just
just wait a few minutes. You got everything you
sure.
need?
Yeah, no, I'm just actually reviewing, my notes because of course it's my mom's 90th birthday.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's why I was here. And so of course I've been focusing on mom.
Right. Of course, as
Yeah,
as
so
you should.
I just thought I would, I'm reading through my notes that I put together before I one more time because I haven't looked at it since I was on the airplane kind of thing.
So these meetings, it just
It's
hit and
pretty
miss. How many?
casual, right? How many
Pretty casual.
people how many people
Um,
come?
Yeah, kind of hit and miss on how many people come, but we do record it and then
Okay.
we put it out, and we usually have about 100 views or so or more. And then when people have questions, they'll email me or whatever. And if I can answer them, which I probably can't, I'll reach out to you and then maybe I could get the answer for those folks. But yeah, it's just
Okay.
kind of hit and miss. Normally Debbie and Kristen are always here, but they're both
hmm
on vacation, so they're not going to be joining us today.
Okay. So it can be a little bit more of, I kind of call it a workshop, like if people
Right,
have
yeah.
questions, they can hop in and say stuff. I've got all my slides and stuff prepared,
Yeah, we like to keep it, pretty
a
casual,
little
conversational,
casual.
but you can
Right.
present and you can
Yeah.
just say that at the beginning, like, if you have questions, interrupt
Just
and
hop in.
then,
Yeah. As long as
yeah.
it's not like 100 people like
No,
asking.
no,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be like
Yeah.
that. I know a lot of people have watched your university presentation. I know this one is geared a little bit more toward teens
Yeah. I
and
added some different stuff, but
yeah,
it's got
great.
some of the basics in it as well. So, but I've got more about like reading labels and stuff like that. So
Good.
hopefully,
I think there is at least one teen, a mom and her teen are going to join, so I think that's good. And
okay.
hopefully we can show this to the teens and the young adults and they can watch it as well. Because
Yeah.
we're not with them 24/7. They're going to eat what they're going to eat. So hopefully if they go, prepared and have some, ammunition about what's best for their bodies, then they'll make better choices. That's what we're hoping.
Yeah. No. And I feel like, there's enough information out there that you can, and I think it can make a difference.
Yeah, I think you're right. I
Yeah.
know there's people are always really interested in supplements as well.
Well,
That's a big thing.
and I'm only going to talk about the supplements that have been researched.
Right. And I think
Yeah.
that's what I would, yeah.
hmm
Yeah, because you can go down a rabbit hole pretty quickly with that, a whole that. So yeah,
hmm Yeah.
that's
But if anybody wants to ask me about other supplements, I did like some research into some supplements that somebody was taking on the side, that I because I'm really a foodie, and the only reason why I talk about the supplements in this presentation is it seems like there's solid research to suggest, like there's some things that you can do.
right. And
And
maybe, and maybe cautionary, some of the supplements, some of the vitamins that are fat soluble that can actually be very dangerous if you take them in high quantities. So
mhm,
that's probably
mhm.
worth mentioning as well,
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm
But
gonna talk
we
about
don't
that.
want to do harm while we're trying to do good.
Right,
But
definitely. Yeah. So
we'll give
where
it
do
a
you live,
couple.
Allie? Do you live in
I live in
Michigan?
Tucson. No, I live in Tucson. I live in Tucson,
Oh,
Arizona.
Arizona. Okay.
Yeah, Debbie lives in Michigan, and Kristen, my other partner in crime, she lives in Massachusetts.
Okay,
So
great.
we're kind of spread out all over. We've met in person 3 times, I think. So
Is it only 3 times?
I
Seems like
think
you
so.
guys should Wow, with all the stuff, that you've been doing, it seems like,
Well, we talk just about every single day, but I think
yeah,
maybe 3 or 4 times, but
nice. That's
yeah.
great. Good,
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Well, we'll give it about another minute and people will start popping on as they
Yep.
can. And a lot of people do watch these later once it's recorded when they have more time,
Hmm.
family, how they are,
Yep,
they're busy, they got kids to take care of and
for sure.
yeah.
No problem.
Hi guys, welcome. We're gonna
Hello.
get started here in just a minute.
Hello.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. I'm very excited to welcome our guest, Selina. I'm gonna mess this up. Lai.
That's it. That's
Selina
it.
Lai, from the Northwest Chapter Director. She gave a great FSHD University presentation that I know many of you have watched, and she also presented a wonderful breakout session at the Connect conference. It was very well attended, and I went to that and I learned a lot. So we asked her to, she's a hot commodity these days. Everybody wants to get her to their chapter meetings. So we're very thankful that she carved out the time to come and visit with us. I just gave you a little bit of background on Selina. She studied nutrition and dietetics at the University of British Columbia and California State University, Long Beach. She earned her master's degree and she's a registered dietitian credentials. Selina practiced in the area of nutrition for physical fitness and weight management for seniors and young children. More recently, Selina has been learning about the nutrition needs of FSHD patients. Several family members have FSHD. Like I said, she's given several talks, and I know she gives great advice to all of us who are trying to either be more healthy for ourselves or for our children or our family members. She's also been very active in advocacy and outreach for the FSHD Society, and she currently serves as the Pacific Northwest chapter leader and a navigator for the FSHD Society. And she has taken time out of visiting her mother for her 90th birthday to be with us. So we thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. At the conference, I gave Deb, one of those, how we all had those little tags, I said, I'm going to give you mine because I want to be able to talk to young people or try and make a difference in the lives of the young, early onset people. So that's why I'm here today. So I have slides and I can can I share my screen, Allie?
Yes, you can.
How does that work?
So we're gonna keep this sort of conversational. If
Yep.
As she's going through, if you have questions, either raise your hand using the thing or just kind of jump in. I'll try and keep an eye out on the chat as well if you want to put something in there, and I'll ask the question for you. But thank you all for being here.
Since we've only got such a small group, maybe let's first ask if there's any particular questions that, like if there's questions that you want to make sure you get answered. We only got 5 of us here. So is there something particular that you want focused on? You can put it in a chat if you want, in the chat. Let's see. And I'll share my screen in a minute, but anything in particular? I know you're driving, Abigail, so I guess you can't.
So
I'm actually picking up a child, so I'm going to make him drive. But I guess my main reason for being here is that my 11-year-old son has FSHD. And when I ask for guidance on supplementation,
you don't get it?
Yeah. And I'm a nurse, so like nutrition comes pretty naturally to us. But anyway, that is my interest of being.
Okay. All right. I've got a little bit about that. Adrian, anything?
Yeah. So my 15-year-old daughter, again, we are told that she just needs to gain weight. So just trying to figure out,
how to do that
and in a way that makes sense because she's just not a big eater. She's just little and that's it. So it's the matter of how many snacks per day and again, kind of that, I don't want to just give her Oreos. That's not going to help. Most
No.
kids it would, but with her,
Mhm.
we can't do that. So it's that, just tips and tricks on snacks and, just kind
Okay,
of help
good.
with that. That would be,
I've got some about that today, so that's
yeah.
good.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Anything from Gary and somebody over there? Anything in
Arlene?
particular? Arlene? They're muted. You're
You're
muted right now.
muted.
There we are.
There you go.
So Justin is our son with FSH, and he happens to be visiting with us right now.
Awesome, Justin. Nice.
And Justin's actually a PhD researcher for FSH, so I'll let him ask whatever questions he has.
Do you have nutrition questions?
I mean, it's not like specifically nutrition, but like, is there anything, like, I do need to gain weight.
You do need to gain weight.
So like, is there any like low effort thing that you should eat every day that could help with that?
Low effort?
Low effort, yeah.
Low effort eating.
Yeah,
Low effort eating, is that what he said?
He doesn't like to put a lot of effort into things, so.
Okay, well, I have, okay, good. All right, Amanda, Benji, or John, anything? No, we're good? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and just get started. If you think, like if I get to, it's kind of formal because I made it formal, but you can ask questions anytime, okay? So I'm just gonna tell you that, all right?
And I just want to say, I did ask some parents about what they would like to see here at this presentation when we were at Connect, and I did send you some of those.
Yeah, and I'll be,
questions that they had, the things that we wanted included, or that
okay,
they had questions about, or I had questions about.
okay. All right, so I think I need to minimize this. Got some stuff in the way here. Can you guys still see my face, just out of curiosity?
Yeah.
Yeah, we see your
Okay.
face and your presentation.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's good.
All right. Oh, thank you. Anyway, so this is the goals for today. So we're going to learn about the relationship between dietary choices and FSHD. Discuss nutrition supplement guidelines for youth with FSHD. Educate participants about some food label things and key ingredients to avoid. Provide an overview of the grocery list for FSHD, which I created for the Connect conference that everybody can get a copy of, and some time for additional questions and answers. Okay, so for the FSHD diet, here's our three goals. Ensure adequate nutrition for optimal health and well-being, which makes sense for everybody. And I find it really interesting that there's some people who have FSHD who are overweight and don't have, they're overweight and overfat. And then there's this other group of people, like two people that we've talked about here, can't gain enough weight. There's the two sides of FSHD, which is always really interesting to me. Okay, we want to support muscle growth and preservation. And we want to promote reduced inflammation and reactive oxidative species through diet and safe supplementation. So the one thing about FSHD in early onset or in times of rapid growth is that young people are putting on more weight, more muscle, because of times of active growth. So puberty, when you're very young, that during that time. So that means that this is the way I perceive it. Your body is trying to build muscle and it's trying to give you more muscle, but the FSHD body cannot handle it, gets into a situation of extreme inflammation and excessive reactive oxidative species in the body, and that causes damage. So we know that certain aspects of the diet can be modified to reduce inflammation for all kinds of chronic diseases, heart disease, cancer, all these things. So we should be thinking about FSHD and the way that diet can reduce inflammation through your nutrition choices. So that's the relationship that can have an impact on, should have an impact on the progression of your FSHD. Theoretically, this is all theoretical. I'm not a scientist. I haven't studied this specifically, but there is research out there that has shown that's probably true. Okay, I'm gonna do a little education thing, and these are some words that if you have FSHD, you should know what they mean. So an antioxidant is a substance that protects cells from damage caused by free radicals. Now, there are vitamins. Here listed, we have vitamins A, C, E that are antioxidants. And we also have other things within the body, in the foods that we eat that are antioxidants. And they basically help, enzymes do their work. Let's just put it that way. If you ever see these 4 letters, BCAA is a branched chain amino acid. There's 3 that are essential amino acids: leucine, isoleucine, and valine. And what's unique about them is that they are metabolized in the skeletal muscle rather than the liver. So they are very, they can be used to create skeletal muscle more quickly than the other essential amino acids. So this is why we focus on leucine in particular as a regulator of protein synthesis and muscle synthesis. I think we all know what an essential nutrient is. It's basically our body can't make it, and so we have to get it from the foods that we eat. Gluten, present in cereals. And some people have, some response to gluten, celiac disease or some inflammatory response. It's not a given that everybody does, but a lot of people talk about gluten, and it's a mixture of 2 proteins, and it causes illness in people with celiac disease. MUFA, a monounsaturated fatty acid. And it's a fatty acid with a single double bond. And examples here, I'm just listing some: olive oil, avocado oil, peanut oil, nuts and their oils, and canola oil. They're all monounsaturated fats. And a polyunsaturated fat has more than 1 double bond in its chemical makeup. Examples: nuts and seeds and fish oils. And I'm listing polyphenols. Polyphenols are the strong antioxidants that complement and add function to antioxidant vitamins and enzymes as a defense against oxidative stress. Some examples: flavonoids, phenolic acid, polyphenolic acid, amines, resveratrol, which you find in grapes and wine, curcumin, and lignans. And the reactive oxidative species, oxygen-containing reactive species that are byproducts of normal cellular metabolism. So every body creates reactive oxidative species. It's just in the FSHD body, because of DUX4 damage, that we cannot kind of keep up with all the free radicals or oxidative species that are produced that cause inflammation and eventual damage in our skeletal muscle. Okay, so those are just some notes.
Selina, I have one question while we're on this real quick. Several years ago, I read a publication that was a study from the University of Rochester, kind of from the registry, and they just have just a lot of general information. And one of the things that caught my attention was the cohort that was taking, with the people that reported they were taking amino acids, they had less decline. Now, that could be a coincidence, but it seemed pretty glaring to me. Do you know of any other studies, or would you recommend that people with FSHD supplement with the branched chain amino acids or other amino acids? I started giving my son amino acids after I read that.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you need all the essential amino acids, but I do believe that you should. It's possible that having a whey supplement, like a whey protein supplement, or well, there's a lot of things here. First of all, leucine is the key branched chain amino acid that impacts protein synthesis in the skeletal muscle. So you want to make sure you're either eating foods that have leucine, or you want to have perhaps a simple way of eating a meal with a good whey protein shake or something like that is probably appropriate for people with FSHD, to make sure you're getting branched chain amino acid, leucine. And there's an interesting study. So I'm going to talk about this a little later when I talk about protein, but I'll mention it now, is that there was also a study done in seniors, and having adequate leucine 3 meals a day without extra exercise improved the muscle what's called keeping the muscle, like not reduce the muscle wasting that occurred in the seniors. So FSHD muscle often is, we always say it's muscle of the elderly, because that's kind of how it presents itself, like muscle that is in decline. So yes, I think there's some truth that taking amino acids might be helpful. However, I think what's more important is taking a whey protein, making sure your whey protein intake or your amount of leucine is adequate in your diet. So,
okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on this page? I'm going to talk about leucine a little more. So, yeah. All right. Key takeaways for FSHD nutrition kids. Okay. So, what I found, and what I did, I tried to look at some of the Duchenne's, because there's a lot of research on Duchenne's and nutrition, and tried to see what was out there about protein recommendations for children with muscular dystrophy. And this is pretty much the range that I found: 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram body weight. I have a chart a little later. This is a little less, actually, than what's recommended in adults. In adults, it's 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram minimum. So this is more than what is recommended for the general population, but it's not quite as high as what I found for adults. So 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram is what I found as far as a recommendation there. So animal protein sources stimulate protein synthesis and muscle synthesis better than vegetable protein sources. And this is mostly because of their leucine content. So just keep that in mind. The FSHD disease process includes inflammation, oxidative stress. So dietary choices to reduce inflammation may help. I've already talked about that. And dietary supplementation with key antioxidants may be protective from oxidative damage. And many patients don't consume adequate calories and are having a difficult time meeting daily nutrient requirements. And so simplifying meal preparation may help patients improve the dietary intake. So. All right, so adequate nutrition for muscle health is your first step to trying to eat better for FSHD. And in a young person, it would have to be 3 meals a day. So in the research in adults recommends having 25 to 30 grams of protein. Sorry, yes, at each meal. Or yeah. So I don't know how much that would be in kids, but what it means is that you actually have to have a certain quantity of a high quality protein to activate the metabolism in your skeletal muscle to promote muscle growth and prevent muscle breakdown. So eating meals with adequate protein is very important, not like snacking throughout the whole day. So this may be a change in how people eat a lot, It's not the grazer that you want to be. You want to actually have 3 meals where you're actually eating a fair bit of protein. And I've listed high quality protein contains all the essential amino acids. And as I mentioned before, the key is actually getting a high leucine from your essential amino acids that are in animal-based proteins. So whey protein powder, eggs and egg whites, cheese, yogurt, cottage cheese, milk, chicken, fish, seafood, red meat. Soya protein powder is in there as a vegetarian source. It's pretty good. Quinoa has all the essential amino acids, but not in the same proportions as an animal protein, and nut butters. So these are my first go-tos as high quality proteins that you want to base a meal on.
Can I ask one more question real quick? So I know when my son was in school, they only had like 30 minutes for lunch.
Yeah.
And most people that have FSHD, they eat slow. Like they have a hard time like eating very quickly. And what would be your recommendation? Like I never let him eat cafeteria food because he just didn't have time to go through the line and all that. Plus, sometimes it wasn't the best food. So I packed his lunch, but just it takes a long time for them to eat. And so what would your recommendation be to get it packed, to get the highest, the biggest bang for your buck in the 30 minutes that they have? Now, I know that you can request extra time to their IEP and say leave for lunch a little bit early and things like that. But mostly in the 30 minutes they have in a crowded cafeteria in school, if you're packing their lunch, what would be your go-to for something that they could get down pretty quickly that has a lot of protein in it?
To be honest, I don't know if it would be socially acceptable. But my first thought would be to make a really cool protein shake that has other things in it, like a shake that has a little bit of fruit in it, has a little bit of nuts, blah, blah, blah. And then he could just drink his lunch.
Okay.
That would be the easiest thing, and you'd get all the protein, and it would be,
How about either a tuna fish or chicken salad sandwich on whole wheat bread?
If those are healthy. Yeah. But if you really want to be fast, you could even make an egg sandwich or an egg white sandwich, right? Cottage cheese. I'm looking at this list. Cottage cheese is a very high protein, like higher protein than yogurt and cheese and stuff. If you wanted to base a meal on that, cottage cheese with fruit and nuts and that kind of thing. But to be honest, you can have more time to eat a full meal somewhere else. You could have a whey protein shake and whatever, berries or something that you like, I don't know I just don't know what's acceptable at the table so my husband uses this blender that has a USB port to like it's a portable blender. You could actually put all the stuff in there and then add water and make it right at the table. He may be the coolest kid on the block. So,
or if you made it in the morning and put it in a thermos and they just had to shake it up and drink it or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, you could get everything you need. Something to think about. If you
So
wanted-
we had a question, what brand of whey protein powder would you recommend?
Well, the brand of protein powder that we use at our house is Stay Above Nutrition. And it's actually whey protein and whey protein isolate and casein isolate. And it has vitamin D and calcium and one other thing. It's called Muscle 5. And it's made by a Canadian company, and they do work in the United States. This is the company of Mark Tarampolsky, who is a researcher for FSH, not muscular dystrophy and mitochondrial diseases up here in Canada, McMaster's University.
It's called Muscle 5?
It's called Muscle 5, Stay Above Nutrition. But you could, in that, I mean, it's a great product because it has a fast-acting loose whey protein, and it also has long-acting casein protein. So it gives you a long effect, right? It doesn't like just, it continues working on protein synthesis and muscle synthesis for a longer amount of time.
I was looking at what we use, and it does say L-leucine in it, but it doesn't give an amount. Do most say how much they have?
It's one moment. There's a certain amount. There's a like 10%, I think 10% of the protein of whey protein is leucine. Something like that. Yeah. So, but for a child, you wouldn't use like I know for like Stay Above Nutrition, it's 1 scoop provides 40 grams of protein. Well, you would not use that quantity for a child. You'd probably use half a scoop, I think, 20 grams of protein, and then you could use other foods to supplement that. Yeah. So, but if you're going to use a straight whey protein powder, you're probably aiming for something that you could buy at like Costco or somewhere like that, because you want a manufacturer that is reputable, and usually the big box stores sell products that will not cause any problems with their large quantity of customers. So that's what I would usually recommend, is getting something from like a big box store. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay. There may be some people, I mean, we have such a small group, but if you have a child or teenager who is trying to eat some vegetarian or something, it's much better for them to stick with animal proteins and then use vegetable proteins, like use animal proteins to supplement their vegetable proteins, because it improves the bioavailability of bioavailability and the ability of vegetable protein to support skeletal muscle synthesis. Snacks, just eating snacks from at least 2 food groups. I just have like some examples: cheese and crackers, fruit and yogurt, vegetable sticks and hummus, that kind of thing. And there is research to support that FSHD patients probably all could use a multivitamin and mineral supplement from a reputable manufacturer. The study out of Montpellier that came out in 2023 found that they did a study on the diets of FSHD patients, and most FSHD patients did not, like 80% of the FSHD patients did not meet the minimum recommended daily allowances for multivitamins and minerals. So just taking a multivitamin as is probably prudent for all FSHD patients. Okay, so some of the things I've already said. Let's see. Animal proteins contain a higher amount of the branched chain amino acids that are metabolized in muscle cells, and that's why you want to have animal protein at each meal. Most efficient utilized protein is eggs and dairy. Whey protein, which is found, well, really in all animal proteins, but the highest amount is found in eggs and dairy. Stimulates protein synthesis in muscle cells. Consuming high quality protein at each meal stimulates muscle growth. And combine vegetable protein sources with animal protein sources improves their utilization. So those are your protein basics. Okay, so here's a little chart based on weight for what your protein intake should be each day. So you can look at that for a moment. See and think about where you are. I mean, there's a lot of apps you can probably use to do a little dietary intake thing for yourselves, but through the Navigator program, if I have done some nutrition, analyzed some nutrition daily intakes for some FSHD patients. So if you wanted to send me something through the Navigator program, I could help you with that. Okay, here is my first chart on food labels. So just looking at protein and sugar on different things that you might have for breakfast or for a snack, let's say, for example. So the first product is oatmeal. So Quaker Oats instant oatmeal has 3 grams of protein, and it comes from oats, a vegetable source, right? A vegetable source of protein. But it has less added sugar than the Kodiak protein. But the Kodiak protein packed oatmeal has 12 grams of protein from oats, peas, and milk and whey protein isolate. So it has a little more added sugar. However, obviously you can see how much protein's in it. Like having this with some milk probably will meet the protein needs that you're looking at for a breakfast. So that's one label I looked at. Here's a couple of granolas. Simple Truth Organic Granola has 5 grams of proteins from oats. It has a lot of added sugar, 16 grams of added sugar. Ratio Trio Granola had 8 grams of protein from almonds, soy isolate, seeds, and whey protein isolate. So the nuts have a little bit higher protein than grains. And so here we go again, like this is how reading labels is important. And you can see that the Ratio Trio Granola is probably a better snack choice if you're trying to get a little extra protein. Breakfast bars. Here's 2 different breakfast bars. Kind breakfast bars. 8 grams of protein from oats and soy protein. So adding the soy protein is pretty high quality protein source. 9 grams of added sugar. Versus Think Delight, which is a 10-gram protein blend, milk and whey and almond butter, which isn't too bad. But Think Delight has lots of added, like sort of highly processed ingredients, 9 grams of saturated fat added. So I don't know which is better. Probably the Kind. I'm more towards like eat natural, so I would recommend the Kind bar. And then here's 2 different kinds of granola that are kind of really nutritious, healthy, all natural kind of stuff. Blue Strips granola, 5 grams of protein from oats, peanut butter, and nuts, 4 grams of added sugar. and I have it for you because I want to show it to you. And then Flax for Life granola, 4 grams of protein from flax and oats. And flax is high in monounsaturated fats and alpha lipoic acid, which is a very strong antioxidant compound. 16 grams of added sugar, which is a lot. So I wanted to show you, I got this, this is my, I don't know if you can see it. This is Blue Strips whole cacao granola. So we're talking about polyphenols and antioxidants. Well, chocolate happens to be exceptionally good for polyphenols and antioxidants. And this uses this is a really earth-friendly food because it upsources, it upcycles the shell, the fruit, and the beans. It's all in here, and it's really good. So I'm just promoting this one. I found it when I was looking at labels. Any questions? Oh, and I have on the bottom here, quote, the best snack bar for high protein is the treatment bar, RX bar. They only use egg whites, nuts, no added sugars, and 12 grams of protein. So
those are kind of hard to chew, though. If you have
yeah,
weakness, they are pretty chewy.
Okay.
I had a question about flax. So when we're talking about protein shakes, like whey protein shakes, if you get some flax seed and just put a little bit, like a teaspoon
Ground.
in there.
It has to be ground.
Yeah, right. Ground flax seed and threw that into the shake, that would boost your protein significantly, correct?
Well, it boosts us a little bit. It boosts it a little bit. You might want to use something like hemp seed instead of flax for protein.
So flax is good for antioxidants?
It's the alpha lipoic acid. And there's not a whole lot of foods that have the alpha lipoic acid in high quantities. And flax is one of the foods, I think, walnuts. Can't remember what else right off the top of my head.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions about this little chart about some foods that you might snack on, I guess, or eat for breakfast? Everybody good? Okay. Okay, second step, anti-inflammatory and antioxidant foods. Nuts and seeds are so important to add, reducing, what we're trying to do is get more omega-3 fatty acids as part of your diet. And nuts and seeds are really good sources of these. And when we eat a higher quantity of monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats that have omega-3 fatty acids, we're shifting our metabolism towards reduced inflammation. Also an important source of trace minerals, vitamin E, and protein. Our leafy greens, if you want to make a green shake, instead of eating all your leafy greens, you can always juice or protein, or blend your leafy greens. Fatty fish, and I know most young people don't love to eat fish. So you can also use omega-3 eggs, where the chicks are fed seaweed as part of their diet, and that increases the omega-3 quantity in the egg yolk. Berries and citrus are your polyphenols and other antioxidants, and having them every day is really important. I wanted to add this because I don't know, a lot of young people like to try new foods and try different things. So Asian additions, green tea is a really, really potent antioxidant compound. Having green tea, seaweed, tofu, Latin addition, red peppers, purple corn powder is an extremely high antioxidant food additive. You might possibly want to add in very small quantities, but we started adding that to our shakes. Pomegranates, rich source of polyphenols. Dark chocolate It's part of our vitamins every day at our house. We have a little bit of dark chocolate every day. Whole grains and legumes provide trace minerals, iron, fiber, and complementary proteins if you're doing vegetarian meals. And using avocado oil instead of regular vegetable oils for high heat cooking is important, I think. I'll talk about that a couple of slides. And for low heat cooking or for cold food preparation, extra virgin olive oil. Kind of getting rid of all the omega-6 oils that we use in our house is probably the way to go. And it's hard for people to think about like not using safflower oil, corn oil, canola oil, everything that's out there. But it's highly processed, highly refined. We don't need it. The American diet has a ratio of omega-6 fatty acids to omega-3 fatty acids that is totally skewed. So if we just eliminate those for our diet and just use oils that are high in omega-3 fatty acids, it can make a big difference in your inflammation. Okay. So foods to avoid and minimize. I've got to bring up ultra-processed foods. So industrial formulations made by deconstructing natural foods into its chemical constituents, modifying them and recombining them with colorants, flavorings, and additives. So as much as we can, we really got to try and eliminate these types of foods and go more towards whole food eating and creating your own processed foods using whole foods and using them in cooking or blending the way you want it, where you're in control. It's a good picture over here of what highly processed foods are. And here we are about the seed oils, canola, soybean, corn, safflower, and consumption of these is linked to chronic diseases and inflammation. And here's examples: mass-produced breads, packaged breakfast cereals, cookies, sweets, carbonated drinks, food-flavored yogurts, frozen yogurt, instant soups, and sauces. There's things that we just maybe, you buy in the store. It's just something packaged. It's just packaged foods, just trying to reduce our packaged foods pretty much. What about gluten? Some people with FSHD don't eat gluten-rich foods, don't eat wheat, barley, rye, contain gluten. They feel that it causes some inflammation or they have a sensitivity. And so if you're one of those people, then you should avoid it and deal with that as you need to. If you're not eating gluten, then there are other things that you can include to get the nutrients that you would normally get from wheat, rye, barley. Quinoa, brown, black, and red rice, buckwheat, amaranth, and corn are all alternative whole grains. And the nutrients that you want to replace when you're avoiding wheat products would be B vitamins, magnesium, and iron. If you're truly a celiac or have a lot of sensitivity to gluten, you want to be careful that your oats are totally gluten-free, because they're often processed in manufacturing plants that have some gluten foods in them. And ultra-processed gluten foods are out there, and so be careful about those and the contents of those foods. Oh, here's my my page about snacking. One of them, anyway. Okay, here's the first list of snack choices for high antioxidant, anti-inflammatory snack choices. I was sort of thinking a little bit about teenagers. So, if you go to Starbucks, you can get a green tea or dark chocolate beverage. Single packs of nuts, seeds, dried fruit, dehydrated berries, nuts and seeds. So dehydrated berries could be really good for people with FSHD who have trouble, lifting, holding, whatever. It's lightweight, goes down easy. Something to think about. Fresh berries or citrus of choice, cheese stick, veggie sticks with sour cream or hummus or salads, olive oil, cheese and cracker combos, nuts of choice. I put original potato chips and tortilla chips. They're going to be the least processed. And of course, avocado and salsa they both have really good nutritious oils, and tomato is a really good antioxidant content. Sweet potato fries. Design your own amazing smoothie, and nut butters with crackers or bread as some high antioxidant, high anti-inflammatory snack choices. Any comments or any thoughts, you guys?
This is great. Thank you very much.
Okay.
This
All right.
is very helpful to just kind of give her a new menu of things to. She's not a picky eater. That's great. I mean, she'll eat anything. It's just, I think like you were saying, it's just the time of doing it,
So like the single packs, like on the West Coast, we have Trader Joe's. So you can buy, and Whole Foods has this too. They've got to have it. The single packs of nuts, seeds, fruits, and those dehydrated berries, like that would be a great thing to, it's so lightweight. It's easy to carry around. You don't have to worry about it. I think that would be a great snack for a teenager just to have on hand. Right. And it's kind of like, getting away from it's putting in your mind that for FSHD, certain fruits and vegetables are better for you than others. So like if you're used to eating apples, let's say, for example, well, if you went to eating berries, you're doing a lot more for yourself than eating an apple. So, and it's just crazy. But if you think about it all the time when you're choosing, it will make a difference. So okay. So next page is the protein rich. So again, as long as you're having milk as the base of the beverage, you're getting a significant amount of protein, and soya milk beverages also. Single pack nut cheese, cheese stick, cheese and crackers, yogurt and nuts. I put pasta with Parmesan cheese. So Parmesan Reggio cheese is actually the highest leucine content of any cheese. I think it's because it's dried and so concentrated. But think about like Parmesan cheese bread and making a mac and cheese and putting loads of Parmesan on it. It's pretty tasty, and it's got a lot of leucine in it. So if you were at Starbucks or McDonald's, the egg white sandwiches or egg bites that are available at Starbucks, those are good snack choices. Treatment bar, I mentioned. Simple ingredient granola and milk, amazing smoothies. Fish, sushi, sashimi, tamago is the egg-based sushi. If you don't know that, tamago. Nut butters with crackers or bread, pretty good protein content. Pita with hummus or feta, if you've got a good Greek place. And then, you can actually just go to the deli and get roast ham, roast turkey, like the most basic thing that they have. And that is going to be high in protein. It's not excessively processed.
Good.
That's a good choice. You can throw that on a slice of bread or whatever, and you're going to be okay. Yeah, it's harder to eat sometimes. I don't know. Anyway, that's my list of protein-rich snacks.
Can I interrupt you about oh, sorry, Gary, we were talking.
Yeah, I was just saying, aren't the cheese sticks pretty processed?
Well, no, you can buy like Tillamook cheddar cheese sticks or mozzarella cheese sticks. They're like string cheese. It's not highly processed. There's not a lot of additional
The mozzarella isn't, because the mozzarella cheese sticks seem so different to me than regular mozzarella cheese.
Well, I guess, you know,
I mean, look,
you do the best that you can. And think of brands like Tillamook is a very good high quality food brand, so I would recommend that. But mozzarella cheese sticks have been providing adequate protein for kids all around the country for a long time, and they're not that. I mean, the processing in that, you've got to think about other foods that we eat compared to other foods that we eat. It doesn't have excessive amounts. It doesn't have added oils or things like that. So read the label and just make the best choice that you can.
how do you, I'm sorry. Oh,
Yeah.
How do you know if it's really processed? I'm looking because we live on this stuff. So how do you know if mozzarella cheese are processed?
Okay, so let me see if I can. I'd have to get a label. Let me see.
Pasteurized milk, salt, cheese, cultures, and enzymes.
That's it. That's it. So we need enzyme. Every cheese uses enzymes. Every cheese has to use enzymes to make it curdle. So that's very few ingredients. It doesn't have. Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you about something. So I have this app. Once I started learning about ultra processed foods, I have this app. See, this is called Open Food Facts. Can you guys see that?
Mhm.
It's blurry.
Okay, sorry.
Food facts. I'll write it down.
Open Food Facts. Okay, so if you have a teenager who wants to learn about their foods, this app, you scan the barcode on any food, and it gives you several different analysis about your food. It tells you whether it's an ultra processed food. It tells you if it's got high nutrition quality or low nutrition quality. It tells you if it's good for the environment. So that might be fun for some of your kids, for any of you, all of us, right? To use an app like that. It's called Open Food Facts. And it will list like mozzarella cheese or sorry, string cheese will probably be listed as an ultra processed food, but it has very few ingredients. So it's, you know, it's how you weigh it. It's pretty good. I'm sure it will say it's a nutritious food.
I have another question.
Yeah.
So they want to put Kana on like a Kate Farms, like a Pediasure kind of thing. It's called Kate Farms.
Okay.
And I didn't know if that's something that we should keep up doing. I mean, we've gotten some, and I think they're going to
It's
change.
like a canned thing. It's kind of like
it's like a
kids insure.
Yeah, like a milk little,
milk
box.
base.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could do that, or you could choose something else. I mean, it has all its vitamins and minerals in it, right? It's like a meal replacement almost.
It's just on top of the meals, again, because we're just not getting enough calories in us. So they're just trying to supplement of like, again, is it easier to drink than to sit too? So, okay, I just wanted to.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's a typical way to go. Yeah.
But the biggest thing would be for that is just like look at the sugar and see if there's just that would probably be the kicker, right? Well,
okay, so it's interesting because Pediasure is an ultra processed food with a purpose, right? Like it is, you're trying to, it's got all the nutrients and protein that you would need for basically a meal. So you could go that way, but maybe if you get on a kick with making your own high protein smoothie with nuts and seeds and dried fruit or whatever, that could be another way to go. I'm just offering that as an alternative choice.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I will tell you, Sam has been drinking Cape Farms for years, for probably 5, 6, 7 years. So he eats and then he'll drink one after. So it's not a meal replacement, but it's
Okay.
a supplement. And it helped him put on weight because they were going to put a G tube in him. And
Yeah, you don't want
it
that.
has saved him from getting a G tube. So he eats his meal and then he drinks a Cape Farm. He drinks 3 to 4 of them a day, and he's been doing
Yeah.
it for years. And it
There you
really
go.
it put adequate weight on him.
Oh, good.
I think it's really whatever they'll take. If they'll drink that, it's great. If they
Right.
try something else.
Right. So
Yeah. No, I understand that.
he initially did the Boost Essentials, and those were too thick, and he just couldn't tolerate them very well. But the Cape Farms is a thinner. It doesn't like deplete your body of like water. So like the Boost, he would drink it, and then he would get real shaky because it kind of just depleted it. Took all his water to try and process it.
Yeah.
So the Cape Farms is easier. And even though he's not considered a pediatric anymore because he's over 18, he still drinks some, and they're much easier for him to digest and to tolerate than the Boost Essentials.
There you go.
For
See,
what it's worth.
an ultra processed food with a purpose. So if it's working and helping, then you should use it. Yeah. Okay. Anything else on this particular page? Are you guys? Okay. All right. So here is step 3, science behind the supplements for FSHD. So, of course, most of the research on the supplements for FSHD have been done on adults. Okay, so I'll premise it with that. What has been studied in FSHD patients? So the research group out of Montpellier, France, has studied these these supplements together: vitamin C, selenium methionine, which is a supplement of selenium, the mineral selenium, zinc glutamate, and vitamin E. And these all act as sort of cofactors for superoxide dismutase, which is a enzyme that works in the mitochondria to remove free radicals from the mitochondria. So they're trying to, by providing these supplements, we're trying to make that enzyme work better by having all the cofactors that is needed to make it function. So they found that there was a slight gain in muscle function. Let me see if I can, I have my notes somewhere else, but yeah, so slight gain in muscle function in the upper thigh. I can't remember what that muscle is called right now, but so that was found, that was there. Studied together also, and this is at McMaster's University. This is the group that Mark Tarampolsky works on. CoQ10, 200 milligrams, creatine monohydrate, 5 grams, alpha lipoic acid, and vitamin E. So this was all done in adults. And again, there was some improvement in muscle function with this combination of vitamins. Vitamin E acts as a antioxidant in the cell membrane. It is a oil. It works. It's hydrophobic. It works with oils. Alpha lipoic acid can be. It can accept free radicals in from fats or in water. Creatine monohydrate acts as a substrate for the energy production cycle, the ATP cycle in skeletal muscle. CoQ10 also works as a cofactor of the ATP, or the energy the energy cycle, the energy cycle in the muscle cell. So particularly in the mitochondria. So creatinine monohydrate has been used in Duchenne's. It's studied in Duchenne's patients. And the recommended level for children was 100 milligrams creatine per kilogram body weight per day. So some people were asking, what's the specific level that's recommended? So that's what's recommended for creatine. CoQ10 was also studied in children with Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. And let me see if I can exit this for a second. Wait a minute.
Can I add just a couple things? So
Yeah.
creatine was studied in kids with FSHD in Australia by Dr. Ian Woodcock.
Okay.
So they did the study. I don't know that they've published on it yet. They're in the process of publishing on it, but I talked to him and he told me it's not going to hurt you. They didn't show like a big difference in with creatine. And he told me that if I gave my son about an eighth of a teaspoon every day, then that wouldn't hurt him. It may help, but they didn't see like a big significant change, but it wouldn't hurt to give him. So I have that also. There is a vitamin out there because I know kids, I used to give my son CoQ10, alpha lipoic acid, and he would take a handful every day and he didn't like to do that. But there's a multivitamin out there it's ONE and it's blue and white and it has alpha lipoic acid in it. It has CoQ10 in it. And it has selenium and all the other things in it. So it's just in one multivitamin. You can get it on
That sounds like a great opportunity. Yeah.
So it's all in one pill. And then just one other thing, I did a vitamin panel on my son. I just had blood taken and I had him check and he was super, super low in vitamin E for whatever reason. And so I started supplementing to 400 milligrams a day and he's been doing that for several years. Probably 3 years. He
would be very low in vitamin E because the FSHD muscle cell needs vitamin E to try and keep these enzymes functioning. So it's, like putting it to work, so to speak. So vitamin E was low in patients in this study out of Montpellier as well. So.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's another reason why, that's great because I didn't look at supplements for children and see but if you have a recommendation for a supplement that includes a reasonable amount of these nutrients, then I think it's appropriate. You can also consume food. We make our own creatine, that's part of our bodies make it from the protein that we consume. CoQ10, its absorption it requires a really good biome. You need to have yogurt or some sort of, you need to make sure that your biome in your digestive tract is like eating. You need to have some probiotics, I think, to make sure it's absorbed. It's a very small percentage. I think it's like 5% of the CoQ10 that you take is actually digested and absorbed. So you need to make sure that you have some sort of probiotic or consume some probiotics. Sorry.
I agree. I think if you can get it from food, that's the way to go. But,
but the studies have shown that you probably need a little bit more than what, for an FSHD patient, you probably need a little bit more than what's just in foods. That's what
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just chatting away. Okay. Getting kids to eat better. Woo! Be the example. So make sure you're eating, have these foods in the house and make sure that you're eating a healthy diet too. Offer choices, healthiest ones whenever possible. Be willing to educate your kids about good nutrition and reading labels. And, maybe using that app would be a really fun way to do that. Plan your day to include 3 meals and at least 2 snacks. Have healthy snacks in the car to avoid fast food on the road. Let kids get involved with cooking and meal preparation. This is if you had a very young child, typically you need to introduce a food at least 3 times to gain acceptance. So if you're trying to get a young child to, eat berries or something like that, you try to present the food at least 3 times to gain acceptance. Recognize the importance of social time with friends at the mall, food court, at the local hangout, etc. I talked to one of my nieces, and she said, just being able to go and hang out with friends is very important. And at the mall, being able to go to one of those food stalls and getting something that you can just sit, and have and feel good about, like your green tea, I don't know, your green tea drink, and being able to sit with friends is really important. De-stress mealtime. Aim for a positive vibe. Those are my getting kids to eat better suggestions. What else do you guys do at your households to try and... Does this help? Anything else that you want to talk about? I don't know.
Justin's old enough. He eats just about everything we give him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the people here, like on this call, most of them are older. So anyway, yeah. So simplifying meal preparation, this is like kitchen efficiency. I think they're so easy now to get nutritious things that are already pre-cut, flash frozen, portioned. You can just pop it in a blender, pop it in the microwave, put it on a pan in the oven, and you can get a lot of really good, healthy, nutritious foods that can simplify your life. I have some pictures here of things that I like. So having a rice cooker or an Instapot, one of a blender, that's really easy to use, a single service, and you can just put it in the fridge and, hold it there overnight or whatever. This third item, this pot of soup is actually, that's a induction cooktop that you could actually put on a table instead of having to cook at the oven, because it's very safe to use. It's something from IKEA that I saw that I thought was useful for easy cooking and preparation. Shopping, grocery delivery services, organic choices, local organic choices when possible. There's all this stuff out here since COVID. It's just all out there. Many quality, healthy options are available in bulk, like at Costco, Sam's Club, Superstore, Bulk Barn. Eat fresh and seasoned to optimize nutrition quality. Okay, so this is my grocery list for FSHD. And Allie, do you have a copy of this that you can just send to your group? Do you want me to send this?
Yeah, if you can send it to, I'll send it out.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this goes through different categories of food, and this is kind of mostly high quality protein ideas, foods that have high antioxidant or promote reduced inflammation. And then I have some food items, and then simple choice preparation, and then some of the nutrient and supplements that are associated with the food, the reason why we're trying to eat them. So here we have all our high quality proteins, and I have berries and pomegranates and leafy greens, and then some simple prep ideas on this page. And it's just 2 pages. Second page here, we've got, so we're talking about vitamin E. So sunflower seeds and almonds are high vitamin E nuts and seeds. Pumpkin seeds are really high in magnesium and good protein source. There's the ground flax and walnuts for the alpha lipoic acid. hemp hearts are very surprisingly high in protein when I read the label, but great polyunsaturated fats and trace minerals. So it's good to add to shakes. Brazil nuts, one nut provides the recommended dietary intake for selenium. And legumes are on there. And whole wheat bread, if we're still eating bread. I love my bread. Just go to a really good bakery and get your fresh bread every day. So that's it. All right. I know that was a lot. Oh my God.
It was great information. Thank you so much. I took so many notes. I took pictures of the screen. If you could send me that, then I'll send it
Yeah,
up
I'll
as
send
well.
you the presentation. And then when I did this talk at the conference, you know, I have all my references. So if you want to do some reading, you can read up on some of the stuff that I got the information from. And then I have a one pager on this diet for FSHD, and then this grocery list. I think the grocery list is a really good way to just think about, you know, just changing it around a bit, you know, just sort of giving yourself a little bit of a different focus. Well, if I'm going out for fruits, well, I can try this one instead of that, or try some green tea. You know, I've been trying to add a little green tea. It's good for longevity as well, you know, just that kind of stuff. So
What was the thing you said about sourdough bread on the bottom of that screen?
oh, sourdough bread has a lower gluten content than regular bread because it's a slow gluten development. So it's actually a little bit lower in gluten content than regular whole wheat bread.
All right,
Yeah.
so that's for people who can't tolerate gluten.
Yeah. If you can't tolerate gluten at all, then you wouldn't be able to have sourdough bread, but it does have a lower gluten content than other breads. Yeah. Anything else? What other thoughts? Any questions? You gonna make some shakes there?
We've been making them already, but he doesn't have them. We have them.
Yeah,
My husband, you know, it's my husband's family who has FSHD, and all of his brothers have FSHD, and one of my sons has. And it's been really, we have a neighbor who doesn't have FSHD, but has really bad gluten intolerance. And she has been making shakes with like 25 ingredients for 20 years.
Wow.
So she uses hemp hearts, sesame seeds, different types of protein, different types of low quality proteins that, you know, but we would want to use our whey protein, and you could add in some soy sometimes, and her flaxseed. And I couldn't believe the list of what she puts in there. And then, you know, she chooses to add certain kinds of fruit and stuff. It's a meal in itself that's processed, but it doesn't include, it's all natural. It's all natural, right? So you're getting a complete meal without adding, you know, stuff that you don't want. You get to make the choice. So.
Well, thank you. This is recorded, so once I get the recording back from the FSHD Society, I'll put it out there, and if anybody has questions, I'll reach out to you and
Okay.
I can answer.
Yeah, and they can contact me. Well, I prefer like through the Navigator or through the Pacific Northwest email address.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I'll send you the documents, so that helps.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking time out of your day and away from your mother. We appreciate it to come and give us this information. It's really valuable. And I think, you know, we all know what you put in your body, especially when you have like a muscle wasting disease like FSHD. It's a huge difference. So thank you so much. My cat is jumping up.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.